When you have amazing aura, you become hard to approach. There's this story of Angelina Jolie where she was at an Oscars after party. Angelina friggin' Jolie, the ex-wife of Brad Pitt, and she was at this Oscars party. Everyone obviously knew who she was, but she was standing all on her own, alone. No one dared to approach her. David Spade, this sort of comedian, this actor, was saying how he saw this happen, and he didn't want to be that guy that approached. You don't want to be the guy that approached Angelina Jolie to say hi. So as a result, just because of her aura, everyone was just scared to approach her. And there was another example. I recently saw Angelina Jolie do one of those variety roundtables. It's sort of this YouTube video of all these actors sitting on a round table hosted by Variety magazine that ask and talk and discuss about many different things. And Angelina Jolie, despite sitting next to people like Zendaya, Angelina Jolie was just in the background. Obviously everyone's sitting on the table, but she was just there doing her thing, silently listening to everyone. She got a few words in. Sometimes the other table people, other actors asked her questions, but majority of the time she was silently listening. And I was watching this interview, I was like, man, I want to hear more about what Angelina Jolie has to say. I want to hear about what her thoughts are. But she was just silently listening. So you would notice this, that when you go to group settings, go to parties, the person with the most aura, for whatever reason, they're usually the most isolated person, because they're a bit hard to approach. Like, people don't want to, like a white belt is scared to approach a black belt and say hi. It's just a fact of life. But if they do have people come up to them, it's other people with sort of similar, if not too far below, of an amount of aura. So only if you have a certain amount of aura can you then approach that person. So if you're a person that's like, hey, I can't relate to this, I approach everyone and I say hi to everyone, that's because you yourself have a high amount of aura, so you're comfortable talking to everyone and everyone. But obviously there's going to be some celebrities, some people that you look up to, where you'll sort of get a bit starstruck and nervous because they just have more aura than you. And on top of that, the person with the most aura is often the most quiet person. I don't know what it is. Like, when you have a lot of world experience, a lot of life experience, you don't have a need to tell people how awesome you are. It's better to just listen, be an observer. And obviously it feels good when people ask about you and want to get to know you and want to get to know your story. Of course, that's amazing. But when you have that much life experience, you know that that's not the way to impress people. That's not the way to share your story. You only want to share your story when asked or when people are interested. So as a result, you end up being the most quietest person in the room, in the table. But that's sort of what comes with having a lot of aura, a lot of isolation, a lot of loneliness, a lot of independence. Because that's also what, ironically, builds aura. Being able to travel on your own, stand on your own 2 feet, do things on your own, that's sort of what builds your aura. So the people with the most aura end up being the most isolated and lonely people. But if we optimistically look at the other side of the coin, when you have a lot of aura, people can sense it. People know you're the shit. When push comes to shove, you're the person that they go to when they need help. If things broke down, if we went into a zombie apocalypse, everyone's going to be looking at you for advice, guidance, and leadership. And also, the more aura you have, the better, the more interesting, the more amazing rooms you can get into, the more amazing people you can meet. You can meet people that are literally inaccessible by the normal person. So those are all the pros. It's definitely worth it, and it's very, you're on this sort of journey of growth, and it's very rewarding and satisfying. So that's why it's worth the pain of being alone, being unrelatable, being unapproachable. all the cons that come with having a lot of aura, having a lot of life experience, having a lot of success is worth it because of the fulfillment you get from becoming the best person you can be. For example, Jesus. Jesus had the most aura possible, but probably was the most isolated person in the world. No one could relate to him. People are actually often scared to approach him. He didn't have a girlfriend, he didn't have a partner, he was alone. Think about that. Jesus was all alone. He was the most loneliest, but he's probably the most unrelatable person. Like, him being Jesus, everyone probably looks unrelatable to you. So, if you want to have the maximum aura, like Jesus, get ready for loneliness and isolation.